Hey, today we're going to put together a blade for table tennis or ping pong. If you just bought a blade and you bought your rubbers and all the things that you need, I'm going to show you how to do it. And if not, then I'll show you what you need to get it done. So let's take a look at what we got. Okay. These are the items that we're going to be using to put together our blade, and I just wanted to go over it in here. First, you're going to need a blade. Okay, and the reason we do this is because we can get higher quality products and we can put together our own blades with our own needs. So when you buy $100 paddle and then you buy $100 worth of rubbers, you want to make sure you're doing this correctly because it can cost you if you do it incorrectly. And when you buy your blade for the first time, you're going to want to put a sealer on it. Not everyone does this, but I would recommend it because when you say something happens to your rubbers and you need to change them, if you go to peel off your rubber and if it's not sealed, you run the chance of pulling up wood out of your blade, and this could destroy your blade, and you don't want to do that, especially if you paid a lot of money for your blade. So I have this blade right here. It's a really nice blade. I like the handle color. You know, it's very light. It's a little bit smaller on the top, but I like that. So we're going to use this blade right here. These are the Vega Elites, the max version. And if you want a legal pad, you're going to have to get a red, and you're going to have to get a black. So we're going to be using these today. And then you're going to need some kind of sponge. I got this at a hardware store. It was I think like 75 cents or $1. It's pretty nice. You could actually cut this and maybe use it again, but I just washed them and they work out pretty well. You're also going to need an X-Acto knife or a razor blade, and what we're going to use this for is once we apply our rubbers, we are going to cut around the blade to make it, you know, uniform, I guess. So you're gonna need one of these, and this is a water-based glue. I'm not sure what product this is, but it's all in Japanese. You're gonna need this because there's some newer rules out that you can't use glues that have toxic chemicals in them. A lot of people used to use rubber cement, but it's been banned. So water-based glues are what we're using now. I also have here, this is a clicky press. You can buy them online. I believe they're around $30. And basically what it does is after we apply our rubbers, you're going to slide or your paddle in there, and then you're going to tighten all these up, and what it does is it's going to create a little bit of pressure to make sure your rubbers adhere to your pad in a uniform manner. If you don't have one of these, you can just use books, okay? And we'll go over that. And then last, but which is actually one of the first things that I did to the paddle, was I used sanding sealer, and you can buy this from a hardware store. It's a little bit pricey, and you're not going to need a lot of it, but I do other projects, so this was actually something I can use for my other projects. It's sanding sealer, and you're going to apply it to your paddle just like you are going to be applying the water-based glue when we add rubbers. It takes about 2 hours to dry, but I would let it dry overnight. And you're going to want to hang it. I'll probably do another video. You're going to want to hang it because you're going to do both sides. I guess you could do one side at a time and just lay it flat, and then let one side dry and then do the other side. And then you're going to want to do the edge around the blade too. You can notice that this paddle is really glossy because it has a sealer on it. So I would recommend going to buy sanding sealer and sealing your blade before we go ahead and do all this. So, alright. One of the first things that we want to do is we want to check the rubbers that you bought. Okay. Even though they came from the manufacturer, sometimes there can be problems with them, and if there is a problem with it, then I guess I have to make another video because I won't apply rubbers that are bad. So take a look at what you got. You just want to make sure that it's smooth, and sometimes there could be dimples in them, but usually when you're buying a high quality rubber like this, there's nothing wrong with it. Just check it out, make sure both sides are nice and clean and there's no problems with it. Check your edges to make sure that it's not lifting or peeling up. That could be a sign that the rubber itself and the pips aren't glued properly to the bottom rubber that you're going to be applying to your paddle. So just take a look at it and make sure that everything is up to par. You're going to want to do this with both sides. You're going to want to do the red, and then you're going to want to look at the black. So I decided I'm going to put this red rubber on my backhand, and then I'm going to apply the black one to the other side. So what you're going to want to do is get a little bit of glue, okay, tiny amount, and we're going to do one side at a time. You're going to let it dry on both the wood and the rubber, and then we're going to apply them later. So this process takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. Get a little bit of glue. We're just going to add a couple drops. You don't want this to be very thick because it takes longer to dry if you do that. Also, if you don't put a lot on, you'll be able to see it a lot better. Like, if I add too much to this, it'll become a soup and it'll be taking forever. Just go around the edges. I'm also going to show you guys, if you're at a tournament and something happens to one of your rubbers and you don't have a backup paddle, but you have some backup rubbers to use, and you're going to need to install a rubber while you're there. I have a hair dryer here that we can use, and the hair dryer speeds up the drying process of the glue, and we can use that. Just make sure when you do it that it's not very hot, or if it is hot, that you're backing up away from the paddle, because if not, the glue will start to bubble, and you don't want that to happen. You want it to dry, but we don't want it to get rock hard. Okay, so go ahead and finish that up. Looks pretty good. Glue, and then right here on the edge, the rubber only goes up to the handle part, so you don't want to go past and glue all that, because there's not going to be a rubber over there. You don't want it to be all gross and sticky. So I went ahead and we're pretty done there, I think. Make sure you get all the edges, because your rubber goes to the edge. Alright, so you can see the glue on there. Now notice that the glue's not running, it's not doing anything weird. It's not pouring over the edge or anything, because we just didn't use this a whole bunch. We just used just as much as we needed. So we put this aside. You're going to do the same thing with the rubber. I like to use the top side, just how if there's text on it, then apply it to your handle with the text up. So add glue to this, and you're going to do the same thing. Just go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you using the blow dryer and how to dry this. It'll dry really quickly if we do it that way. So get a blow dryer if you have one. I got one here. And there's some settings on here. There's warm and hot. I'm sure all blow dryers are a little bit different, but I'm just going to set mine on warm, and then I'll low setting. Just make sure you feel to see how hot it is, and then get your paddle, and you're gonna want to fan it back and forth. What we want it to do is we want it to dry to the point where when we touch it, it's tacky, but not solid. See, right now, I'm touching this paddle, and it's tacky. So we're going to shut it off, and just check your paddle. You know, it feels dry, and that's pretty good. We're going to do the same thing with this. That's wet. Let's go ahead. If you're in a colder area, this might take a little bit longer, but I'm in room temperature right now, so. Alright, tacky. Normally that might take 30 minutes or something. Alright, so we got our blade, and then we got our paddle. And like I said, if you look, see how the text is on the top, and I'm going to apply it just like that to my paddle. So what you want to do is take your pad, and then there's a bunch of logos down here. You're going to want to center that logo on the bottom to the center of your racket, your blade here. So we go ahead and add it like so. And just make sure you press down right here. A lot of videos and things, they try to sell you this roller, okay? As long as you're pressing at the bottom, and you don't just apply the rubber to the pad, you shouldn't have an air bubble. So what I like to do is just go from the bottom and keep going. And just make sure that, you know, you're not placing rubber directly on it really quick. So just go ahead and press while you go, all the way up. Okay, I guess you could use this, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. You'd be able to tell if you had air bubbles in it, like something right there. It looks really good. There's, you know, this up here, I guess. We'll roll it out.